Where is Sarah Ferguson now, do you know? Because I've read reports that she's in the United Arab Emirates and broke. I've also read reports that she spent a month at a luxury Swiss resort that cost $25,000 a day. And it's a resort that she has promoted before. Here she is.
There are two hotels at the centre of this story. The first costs over £13,000 a night, sits on the edge of Lake Zurich, and assigns 15 medical specialists to a single client. The second costs £113 a night. It sits on the windswept north coast of Donegal Island and assigns you a standard room. Sarah Ferguson has recently stayed in both. Everyone is talking about Andrew's arrest, about the police convoy that pulled up at Wood Farm on his 66th birthday. But the story that actually tells you where things stand is a woman quietly checking into a budget coastal lodge while her entire professional world was being dissolved in courts she wasn't invited to. That gap between £13,000 and £113 is not a lifestyle choice. It is a financial emergency, and it has been building for a very long time. In this video, we are going to track exactly how it happened. 6 companies wiped from the Companies House registry, a global charity shut in the dark, an ex-husband arrested in the first police action against a senior royal in modern history, and later, the email she wrote in private that became the most damaging line ever attached to the House of Windsor. Start with Zurich. The Paracelsus Recovery Clinic is not a hotel. It is a fortress for the ultra-wealthy, 15 specialists assigned to a single client exclusively. The weekly cost sits around £91,000. Sarah had promoted the clinic publicly before this visit, which raised an obvious question: was she actually paying? Reports suggested the stay may have been heavily discounted in exchange for the kind of publicity only a former duchess can generate. It didn't matter, because while she was in Zurich, the United States Department of Justice was preparing to release 3 million Epstein files. Whatever piece that lakeside apartment and live-in therapist had bought her was about to be cancelled. She left Switzerland. The trail moved west. Ballybliffin Lodge sits on the north coast of Donegal, 4-star, rooms from £113 a night. She had stayed there once before in 2024. This time, sources described her as fragile, keen not to be seen. 1 month, £91,000 a week in Zurich. The next, a standard Atlantic coast room hoping no one recognises her over breakfast. This was not a woman choosing simplicity. This was a woman who had run out of better options. We will come back to why, because it only makes sense once you understand what those emails actually said. The February 2026 Epstein file release contained 3 million documents. Buried inside were private emails Sarah had written after Epstein's 2008 conviction, when the rest of the world had already made its judgment. The files established financial dependency first. According to the documents, Epstein had allegedly been supporting her financially for 15 years, a significant stretch of her post-divorce life that reframes a great deal of what happened during it. There was an email from April 2011, 2 years after Epstein walked free from his first sentence, in which Sarah reportedly asked him for a job. Not a favour. A paid position as his house assistant. She had also pushed him to upgrade her flight to visit him with Princess Beatrice, 5 days after his prison release. 5 days. The financial picture was damaging enough. Then came the email that made everything worse. Commentators have called it the P-word email. In it, Sarah reportedly told Epstein she would not call him a paedophile in private, that her public distance was purely strategic, performed to protect her own brand. The outrage she had shown for cameras was, according to this email, theatre. There were other messages. In one, she reportedly shared her goddaughter Poppy Cotterell's details with him. In another, she described a young woman, 22, single, with what she called a great body. These were not careless lines from a single bad moment. They were written across several years to a convicted offender by someone simultaneously building a public identity as a campaigner for vulnerable women and children. In September 2025, a single earlier email surfaced where she called Epstein a generous and supreme friend. 7 charities dropped her immediately, including the Teenage Cancer Trust. They didn't request an explanation. They ended the relationship. What February 2026 added was volume. Volume made denial impossible. When the reputational ground collapses, the financial structure built on top of it follows quickly. 6 companies linked to Sarah were dissolved at once. Phoenix Events, Fergie's Farm, La Luna Investments, Solar Moon Limited, Philanthropreneur Limited, Planet Partners Productions. Everyone a different attempt to monetize the space between being a royal and not being one, all 6 gone within days. On February 3rd, Sarah's Trust, the charity she founded in 2020 for vulnerable women and children, closed for the foreseeable future. The platform she had used as her public moral stage shut at the exact moment her private emails were reaching a global audience. Corporate sponsors didn't issue statements, they simply stopped responding. No companies, no charity, no income, but one more blow was still coming. February 19th, 2026, Andrew's 66th birthday. Thames Valley Police arrived at Wood Farm by 8 a.m. He was arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Reports linked it to forwarding confidential trade information tied to the Epstein network. The first arrest of a senior royal in modern history. King Charles released a brief statement. The law must run its course. No solidarity. No intervention. The institution stepped back and drew a clean line. Sarah was not at Wood Farm. She was reportedly abroad. The woman who had shared that world for 30 years was nowhere near him on the day everything finally came down. That absence said more than any statement could. To understand why she had nowhere to go, you need to go back to Royal Lodge, the 30-room Windsor mansion Andrew had leased since 2003. King Charles ended the arrangement in October 2025 and brought the deadline forward. Andrew moved to Wood Farm temporarily. Sarah had no equivalent fallback, no grace and favour property. Press reports described her situation as simply hanging in the balance. She had been travelling. The UAE, Doha. Reports described attempts to build financial connections in Gulf circles, one of the few places the York name still carried residual currency. Even that, sources suggested, was growing cooler. The emails had reached everywhere. Pull back far enough and Sarah Ferguson's life describes the same loop returning. The 1992 photographs that ended her royal standing overnight. The 1996 divorce with debts exceeding $4 million. The 2010 sting operation, filmed allegedly selling access to Andrew for £500,000. Each time she found a thread back. Campaigns, books, the 2023 cancer diagnoses that generated genuine sympathy. She used every window carefully. What the Epstein emails did is collapse the distance between the public Sarah and the private one. Every previous scandal could be framed as a mistake, a lapse, a moment. These emails describe years of calculated contradiction. You cannot ask the public to root for your recovery while asking them to ignore what you were protecting in private. That sympathy evaporated immediately. So here is where things stand. The York brand dissolved. The charity dark. The patronages gone. The ex-husband under arrest. The king unmoved. And Sarah Ferguson is in a 4-star lodge in Donegal, walking the coast waiting to see whether anything survives. What stands out across all of it is how long the contradiction held, and how completely it collapsed the moment the private version became public. There was nothing honest underneath it to fall back on. Can she rebuild from here? Or has the palace finally, permanently, pulled the safety net that made every previous comeback possible? If you want to follow this as it develops, and Andrew's situation is still unresolved, subscribe now. There is a lot more still to come.